And you are the one person who has the authority to suspend the current policy until we are confident that children have equal access to life-saving treatment and aren't discriminated against because of their age. We wouldn't do it for any other reason. I'm begging you. Sarah has 3 to 5 weeks to live. Time is running out. Please, suspend the rules until we look at this policy, which we all believe is flawed.
Well, I would suggest, sir, that, again, this is a incredibly agonizing situation where someone lives and someone dies.
All right. That flippant response by Kathleen Sebelius, the Secretary of Health and Human Services, made at a hearing yesterday to Congressman Lou Barletta, and he is Republican from Pennsylvania, the 11th Congressional District, second-term Republican. And Congressman, welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you, Steve. Nice to talk to you. And that remark was just chilling. I was sorry to even have to listen to it again.
Well, I'm sorry, but I want the folks to hear it, and I got to tell you, bravo to you, and I know you've taken time off the floor to come join us, and I really do appreciate it. Any of us who have children or no children or have a niece or a nephew or in any way, shape, or form have a heart and are human, they're just heartbroken by what the family is going through. And I spoke to Sarah's mom yesterday, and she said that she's taken a turn for the worse, and it's just it's such a tragic story, and the cavalier attitude by Kathleen Sebelius is just unacceptable.
Well, you know, with the stroke of a pen, she could save someone's life, and she herself knows that this policy is flawed, that we are discriminating against a little girl because of her age. And I asked her those questions. Would we deny somebody an organ transplant based on the color of their skin? And she said, of course not. Would we deny someone because of their gender? Of course not. Then why are we going to let a little girl die because she's not 12 years old and she's only 10? This is just typical Washington, and it's heartbreaking. It's heart-wrenching. This little girl's hanging on for her life, and every day we're getting closer, and you know, we're going to try to do everything we can. This is something that's wrong, and we still have some time, and we're not going to stop.
Her rationalization, it just doesn't seem, I mean, if she at least gave what you could think that she believed was a good answer, but she didn't even give anything that makes sense, that's worth sacrificing the life of a little girl for. You asked, just suspend the rules, not permanently, just make an exception, suspend the rules, let's look at this matter further. Why should, 1 year difference make a life and death decision? And her answer, some people live and some people die. I don't want to get political here, I really don't, but I got to tell you, based on age, under Obamacare, you've heard a lot of talk about death panels. That's what happens in the other countries, and that's what's going to happen here. Based on age, they're going to decide, does the 84-year-old person get the bypass, or does he get a pill? Who gets the medical treatment and who doesn't, based on how long they'll live and productivity. And so that attitude, and she'll be the one heading that up, that attitude scares the heck out of me, and it should scare everybody.
No, it was just a glimpse. It was just a glimpse of what's to come. When the Secretary of Health and Human Services could be so cold in that response, how are they going to treat those life and death decisions of other Americans? And we're not asking for special treatment. It's not that we're asking Sarah to be put ahead of other people where she's not deserving. We're asking for equitable treatment. She shouldn't be denied to be in that class just because she's not old enough, when her doctors said that they could modify an adult lung and it would have an opportunity to work for Sarah. This is just an unbelievable story, and again, it just shines on a light on what we can expect with Obamacare and this administration, who hasn't been afraid to break other rules throughout other departments. I've experienced them as a member of Congress, where the president has issued memorandums and used prosecutorial discretion to change laws and that fit his views. And here's a case where they're not willing to save a little girl's life.
And Congressman, the age, if it's a matter where she says some live and some die, in other words, if she's concerned that, and I don't want to play God either, but if she's concerned that an adult at the top of the list won't get the lung transplant or might have to wait longer where this 11-year-old girl would, I mean, again, I don't want to have to make that decision either, but you would think that an 11-year-old who has the rest of her life ahead of her would be given preference somehow.
Right, and the fact of the matter is that transplants should be granted by the severity of the illness,
right,
not by the age.
True.
And if Sarah was in that category, she would be in the top to receive it because of the severity of her illness. So even with that, she's still. The only thing that's keeping her from being in that category is they're saying, well, you didn't meet the age requirement, so therefore it's really a death sentence being on that pediatric list because they only did 2 last year. Thank God there's not a lot of children that are lost and have to donate their lungs. But on the other hand, for those that need them, it really is a death sentence to be on that list because there are so few pediatric, lungs to be given, to donated. So this is a terrible story, and I just cannot believe her cavalier attitude.
We're talking to Congressman Lou Barletta of Pennsylvania here on the Steve Malzberg Show. Okay, let me ask you one more. What's the next step? I mean, with time of the essence here, what could you do? What could we do? What do you suggest?
Well, the first thing that I'm doing here, we're right now we're composing a letter that I'm sending to the president. I'm going to ask the president to intercede before this little girl's time runs out. We are also, there are a group of us from Pennsylvania looking to put some legislation to see if we can put some emergency legislation to change the policy. We're going to do everything we can on our side, but what the American people can do is call the White House, call the secretary, email. That does matter. They need to know that the American people believe this is unacceptable.
We have breaking news. Congressman, you're going to be interested in this. According to CNN, they say they spoke to the parents this afternoon. A judge has granted an order preventing enforcement of the age rule.
Wow.
That's just breaking as I'm looking at the TV screen, that a judge, the family filed a lawsuit in an attempt to get Kathleen Sebelius to enforce the policy that prevents children under the age of 12 from getting the lung transplants. And they wanted her put on the list, as you were well aware of. They filed a lawsuit, and just within the past hour or so, according to CNN, they got the results. The judges said they say has ruled in their favor, and CNN's trying to get to the language of what the judge has said. If that's the case, wow, that's an answer to, I know, your prayers and so many others.
Well, it certainly is, and I'm sure there were a lot of people around the United States praying for a decision such as that.
Okay, well, certainly, I'm sure your questioning of the secretary yesterday certainly enhanced the heartbreak around the country and those who saw it, and hopefully maybe played a part in the decision as well. You should be proud of yourself if this is the case, and please send everyone's regards to the family if you get to speak to them, sir.
We will, and it's unfortunate that we have to go to that extent to get a decision like this, but thank God, hopefully it's going to turn out.
You don't think they would? You don't, in your wildest nightmares, think that they would, if this is the case, if this is being accurate, if I'm accurately reporting what I'm seeing on CNN, you don't think that the government, the administration would dare to try to stay that order, do you?
I would regret if that were the case, but I'm going to try to find out what I can
Gotcha.
as we